What's up guys, John Rettinger here. The iPhone is an expensive piece of technology, and as such, we all want to protect our investment. Some people use full cases, some use scratch protection. And in that scratch protection field, there are three major players. The first one, as I've demonstrated earlier, is clear coat. The next, invisible shield. And finally the third, bodyguards. And these are very durable, rough, plastic-esque substances that cover your phone in its entirety. That'll protect it in your pocket from keys, from scratches and nicks. Certainly not going to shield it from drops, but protects them from everyday use. So I'm going to try all three of these, and I'm going to show you how to put them on, and we're going to see which one is the best from a price standpoint, from an installation standpoint, from a protection standpoint. Anyway guys, stay tuned, and I hope you enjoy. Bye-bye. So the first product we're going to talk about is bodyguards. This will run you about 25 bucks, and it does come with what they're calling the 2 Advantage. It gives you lifetime replacements, and it gives you 2 complete bodyguards in the box, which is actually quite nice. So let's go ahead and open this up, and I'll show you what comes inside. Peel off the plastic. The boxing of these things is relatively unimpressive, and I assume that they'll all look relatively similar inside. Open it up. Bodyguards, got you covered. Little plastic card. And we have a pen, which is traditionally the application that goes onto the phone. It's a liquid sort of glue, but doesn't do any permanent damage to the phone, and it's of course removable. Let's see what else we have. Installation instructions are right on the side, and I'm going to install this live on camera so you'll see that. And here are the bodyguards themselves, Apple iPhone 3G layout. And that's it. Big box, not much in it. Let's see if we can find anything else they got hidden in here. Usually they include some sort of squeegee, but that does not appear to be the case unless it's hiding in there, which it's not. So I'm going to assume that this plastic piece is actually a squeegee that you use to slide it down and get rid of air bubbles. So let's go ahead and start with the installation. So I laid out a towel here because these installations can get a little bit hairy. You're spraying this liquid stuff all over you, and oftentimes you have to spray them all over your hands, so you don't want to get your table or desk dirty. So let's go ahead and take a look at the directions. Step 1, wet your hands with the application solution and keep them wet whenever you're handling the film. Fair enough. Be careful not to drop or cut out. Make sure you spray the back of the film, nice and easy. Lay the piece onto the device, getting as close to the final position as possible. Alright, squeegee the middle. And using overlapping strokes, don't push too hard. Make sure to squeegee out all the moisture and soap. If you do not have a haze, will slowly appear under the film, making the device look foggy. Don't panic, this moisture will dry out over a 12 to 24 hour period. Okay, and I give you some hints as well, but no big deal. Let's go ahead and get cracking. So step 1 is to spray my hands with the solution, so I'll make sure I do that. They say whenever you're touching any of the film, to make sure your hand is wet with the solution, so I'll go ahead and do that. Just feels like water. Oh no, it burns! No, just kidding. Alright, so my hands are covered with the solution. I will now take a piece of it off. Go ahead and remove it. And I have to spray the sticky side, so I will do that right now. So make sure it's pretty well covered, so I'm going to do that. Appears to be pretty well covered. Now they say take it and lay it on top of the device. Now putting something wet on top of my iPhone is a little bit nerve-wracking for me, but I have used these in the past, and I know that this is just a standard procedure, and they do work. So I'll go ahead and slide it where it needs to be. Should slide relatively easily. There we go, put it over the button. Right about there, looks pretty good. So I laid it on the device, and next thing what I want to do is squeegee from the middle on outward. So I'll take that plastic piece from earlier, and you can see there are some massive bubbles there. I'll kind of hold my finger in the middle, and I'll start to squeegee outwards. You can see those bubbles start to go away. Move this around, go to the other side. Now they say to let this sit for about 10 to 20 minutes for it to settle. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this here for 10 to 20 minutes, and I'll turn the camera back on in a few. The screen protector is on. Actually, it's on so nice and clearly you can't even see that it's on there. A little bit dirty, needs to be cleaned. There's still some kind of excess liquid on the front, but nothing a quick breath and rub on your shirt won't get off, and really you can't even see that it's there. Let's go ahead and move on to the back of the device. This is a much bigger piece, and we're going to go ahead and follow the same steps. I will wet my hands, which is still a little bit weird to have to do, but most of them require that you do this, so they don't get sticky. Okay, so my hands are nice and wet, and we'll go ahead and peel this off. This is a much bigger piece, and it takes up the entire back of the device. I don't want to break it as I'm pulling it off here. It does feel like putting a real big sticker on your phone. I guess that's kind of what it is, even though it is a protective sticker. And look at that, as we pulled it off, the bottom part that covers the port on the bottom actually broke off, and I wasn't applying any excessive pressure, so I'm gonna have to pull off the other side of that and install. And actually, maybe this is the reason that they give you two. Let's go ahead and chuck this one, and we'll go ahead and move on to the next one. So I thought maybe they were giving you two just so you have an extra one or give to a friend, but evidently they're giving you two because they're pretty easy to break. All right, so here is take two. I will try and be a little bit more careful. I don't know if that was my error or just these are a little bit more delicate than I anticipated. But we will go ahead and try it nonetheless. I'll peel this top part off on its own. There are a lot of corner pieces here that make it a little bit difficult to peel this all off in just one shot. There we go. Nope, look at that, it broke off again. So I guess that is a big negative for bodyguards. But I'll go ahead and try and put this on anyway. Actually, the bottom part stuck to the top, which is a little bit annoying. We'll go ahead and try and put this on and see if it can work even with a broken bottom piece. Because if I broke two, odds are you may break yours as well. So we're going to spray this with all the business so it's nice and soaked, and it is. And we'll go ahead and place it on the iPhone. So easy to tell what goes where just by that little camera hole. So we'll place it right on top of the camera hole. We'll kind of bend it and fold it appropriately. Make sure it covers everything. So this top part here is supposed to cover. Look at that, it got stuck again and broke off just putting it on. I'm not even going to try to finish putting this on. Two pieces have broken on two separate films. So, moral of the story is, bodyguards, great for the front of your device, not so good for the back. That have been two that have broken. I was very careful with each. So, can't recommend the bodyguards as a first shot. Let's go ahead and move on to another. Alright guys, next up we have Clear Coat, a product I actually reviewed probably about a month or so back, and a product that I use on my iPhone on a regular basis, so I can vouch for it. It is actually very good, but can be a little bit difficult to install. So here's the box, Clear Coat, scratch protection for your electronics, how it works, scratch proof, lifetime guarantee, and installation guarantee. Don't worry if you mess up installation, we'll give you another Clear Coat to try again. So that's nice. So they're recognizing that it is a little bit difficult to install, but they are standing behind the product once you get it installed. Let's go ahead and open up the box. This will look pretty similar to the last one. You've got sort of the Griffin with the installation guide. Take a look at that in a minute. Here is the front of the iPhone sticker, and here's the back of the iPhone sticker. Probably shouldn't call them sticker. It's a very thick, sort of plasticky material. We've got the liquid stuff that you spray on your hands and the device, and a little rubber squeegee. And that's about it. So let's go ahead and get to the installation. So the installation instructions here are pretty similar to the last one. So they said spray your fingers with the spray, so we'll do that. Fingers are good. We'll take the phone. We'll start with the front. Peel it off. and want to spray the entire sticky side of the plastic. So I will do that. It's always better to err on the side of caution here and keep spraying if you're not sure you got everywhere. Even if it's dripping off, that's okay. And keep spraying your fingers to make sure that they're wet and don't get stuck to the cover. So here we go. Go ahead and place that right on top. I know it looks really weird to put something so wet on your iPhone, but it does work. So we'll go ahead and place it right where it looks like it belongs, so not covering the button, and with enough room for the speaker grill. Okay, so the next step is keeping this firmly in place. Take the squeegee and shoot out any bubbles or excess fluid that might be in there. It's going to be a little bit difficult because it keeps moving around. I recommend letting it sit actually for maybe a minute to 2 minutes before you start squeegeeing. As you can see, it's still kind of flailing around a little bit. Alright, so it's a bit more stable but still moving around, but that's not a problem. We'll just start squeegeeing out all the air bubbles from underneath there. It's pretty simple. Go to the top, the sides, really you don't see any left. And it looks like all the air bubbles are taken out. It's a pretty simple process, but it can be a little time consuming to make sure you got everything right. So when you're done, it should not look like anything. It should look like just the front of your iPhone. You shouldn't be able to see it, bubbles or wrinkles at all. Alright, the next step, this is where clear coat is unique. They're saying wet the top of the squeegee now and continue to wipe out the bubbles. So we'll do that. Spray the squeegee and we will keep wiping out the bubbles. It's almost like painting it on there. You kind of want to make sure that you get everywhere. I'm not sure why this step is necessary, but I did it when I installed the clear coat the last time and it came out very nice. So definitely go ahead and follow the instructions. Make sure you get the corners and don't forget. There we go. Looks like we got the entire thing there. So the screen protector is on and working pretty well. And I should mention, make sure your device is off while you're doing this. So we're going to move on to the much more difficult back of the device. This one is a little bit tricky, and I'll show you why. We'll follow the same steps that we did previously with the clear coat. So first, I will wet down my fingers. Awesome. Wet it down. We'll go ahead and peel this off and we'll see if we cannot break it like we did the last one. These are a little bit more durable, it looks like. There we go. We got it off in one piece, so we're already a step ahead. We will wet it down. This one you really want to make sure you use a lot. It's still weird to me to keep putting something soaking wet onto your device, but that's just the way it works. So here is the iPhone powered off. Here is the clear coat. Go ahead and kind of wrap it on. And this one's definitely more difficult because the corners never seem like they're going down. And they actually tell you that it's okay if the corners seem like they're peeling up. Just keep pushing them back down. It could take a good, sometimes even 3 hours to get everything to stick right. It's a little bit weird. You never quite feel like you have it right. I know when I put it on the first time, I never felt like I had this thing working like it was right. And then a couple hours later, it dried and it looked perfect. So you can see the edges are totally sticking up everywhere. The thing is sliding around. But we'll go ahead and follow the steps anyway. And we will start squeegeeing. So about 5 minutes have passed and I'm still kind of pushing this down. I'm still struggling with it. But it's starting to stick down just a little bit more. Not much, but a little bit. So I'm going to wet down the squeegee here, like they say. And I'm going to keep on squeegeeing. Make sure you get the sides here and make sure you're putting everything down. So I'm going to turn the camera off so you guys don't have to watch me play at this for a while. But I will tell you how many minutes have passed and what it's looking like so you can see what to expect if you want to try putting one of these on yourself. Alright, so about 30 minutes have passed and it's pretty much down all the way. Corners are still coming up a little bit. I'm still working with them, but as you can see, it doesn't even look like there is a protector on the iPhone. It just looks a little bit shiny. Still a tiny little air bubble, but not bad. I'm going to keep pressing it down, but it's almost done. Got to let it sit maybe for an hour, just kind of on its back, So you're looking at a good, let's say maybe from start to finish, probably 1 to 2 hours. They say possibly 3. So this is pretty much done. Clear coat looks good, it's solid, and I'm comfortable with it. I feel like it's not gonna break, and it's gonna protect my phone nicely. I'm a big fan actually of the clear coat. Alright, so we're gonna move on to the Invisible Shield, which will also run you $25 by Zag. It's probably the most well known, and it does the same thing as the other two, but let's see if it does it as well. So, full body protection, million sold. There are some quotes on it. Wow, scratch proof. Completely wraps around the digital device by the New York Times. That's like saying critics agree. It's see-through. That's a ridiculous quote. Anyway, let's go ahead and open it up and see what we got. Tear here. Alright, it's been torn. The sleeve installation diagram. Take a look at that in a minute. Let's see what we got in the box. I'm guessing it's going to look relatively similar. In fact, it looks almost identically similar. You've got your fluid. You've got your install squeegee. Here's some application instructions. And here is the Invisible Shield itself. Let's take a look at the instructions. Wash your hands, spray your fingertips, hold the Invisible Shield in your hand, adhesive side up. Lightly spray the front and back of the Invisible Shield. Apply it using the included squeegee. So the steps are exactly the same as the previous. So for starters here, let's focus on the back of the device, since the front seems to be pretty standard. So we will go ahead and follow installation instructions. Open up the plastic here. Gotta see these Invisible Shields are really well protected in the plastic. Go ahead and take them out. In fact, they almost appear melted to the plastic. They can take them out without ripping it. I gotta look at that, it's actually ripping as I'm pulling it out of the plastic. And I was actually very gentle pulling it out. So even taking the Invisible Shield out of the plastic, it's actually, when they put it in there, it was stuck to the plastic itself. Let me show you. See that? It's actually adhered already to the plastic. It may have melted or something in the heat. But even putting it on the back on now, it's impossible. It's actually physically adhered, melted right to the plastic. Interesting. So it's a little bit difficult to even review the Invisible Shield. I was actually looking forward to reviewing this, but seeing as they came broken and stuck to the device, I can't even do a review. I can't even pretend to put on the back of this thing. So I'm going to assume that it's good, and assuming that you don't want to keep yours in any sort of heat. I don't know how this was stored before it got to me, but if I had bought this, I would have run it right back to the store and insisted on a refund. So unfortunately, I can't really grade each on installation. The best grade I can give on any of these is not being broken. And the clear winner, guys, is clear coat. Wasn't broken. Was relatively easy to install, although it did take some time, and it works. I can vouch for it. I've been using it. I would have liked to have tried the other two, but not really an option. Seeing as the back is the hard part, the front is pretty standard amongst them all. So if you have to pick one of the three, and I'll put links to all three products in the sidebar, guys, I gotta recommend Clear Coat. I've used it and I think it's the best, and also it's gonna come to you in one piece, not too ripped apart. So guys, hope you enjoyed. For exclusive content, be sure to follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/John4Lakers. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.